California dreaming. Boosted by Nader aid, Bush is convinced he can now win the once sure for Gore state, as Gore battles hard on the ground for toss-up Wisconsin. Can seniority power beat youthful stamina? Age, the issue in a key Senate race. Prescription for disaster. Doctors' bad penmanship. Now, a possible cure. And she could be the next First Lady. A snapshot of Tipper Gore.
This is the CBS Evening News with Dan Rather reporting from CBS News headquarters in New York.
Good evening. It is 8 days until America chooses a new president, and both George Bush and Al Gore are scrambling in these final days, trying to break into a clear lead and seal the deal with voters. Here's what the candidates are up against. Even at this late date, 14 states are still considered toss-ups, could go either way. What's more, 4 other key states are in play. States where the candidates feel it's close enough, they're committing last-minute time and or resources, hoping for an upset. Case in point, the Bush campaign on themes of lower taxes, better schools, and a better military is now feeling so confident elsewhere, it's making a last-minute bid for California. That's where CBS's Bill Whitaker begins our coverage.
And the big surprise of this election year is I'm going to carry California.
George W. Bush is feeling so confident that in these final days he's spending crucial time in a state Democrats have won handily the last 2 elections.
It's wishful thinking for Al Gore and his supporters to think I'm going to write California off.
Last spring, he pledged to put up a fight for California, but Gore had such a lock on the state it was more like shadow boxing, until now. After a recent poll showed Gore slipping and Ralph Nader gaining, the Bush camp did an about-face and pumped $5 million into last-minute ads.
You trust government? I trust you.
And reached out by satellite this weekend to Latino voters.
It's becoming pretty clear that the vice president has been taking California for granted.
It isn't as though George W. Bush is surging in California. The difference appears to be Ralph Nader.
Nader, at 6% in state polls, is giving Democrats the jitters. Gore, who was so confident he spent almost no time here and $0 on ads, now has decided on one last California swing. Even President Bill Clinton, more popular here than elsewhere, will campaign in California this week. State Democrats say that should solidify Gore's base and his lead.
Private polling being done here for both parties shows a pretty solid 10-point lead. Maybe a little bit more, but around 10.
Now, almost no one thinks Bush can truly win here in California, but he has so much money and so much confidence, he's making Gore fight down to the wire for a state that should be his, and making the vice president divert time and money away from those hotly contested battleground states. Dan?
Bill Whitaker. The Ralph Nader factor is also part of the context for Gore's other campaign stops in this final week, places such as Wisconsin today. Gore is pounding on the themes of the economy, the environment, and Social Security. CBS's John Roberts is covering the Gore campaign.
From the shores of Lake Michigan today, Al Gore sent a message he hopes will mobilize voters nationwide.
These are fundamental choices, and they're not just about numbers and budgets. They're about the character of our society.
The vice president has deliberately raised the stakes for what he calls the closing argument of his campaign.
You deserve better than rubber checks to pay for runaway spending and a rubber stamp for the powerful interests.
The strategy is to paint George Bush as not ready for prime time. But the vice president was careful not to say that. He left it to running mate Joe Lieberman.
George Bush is not ready to be president of the United States.
The Bush campaign stopped just short of calling the attack an act of desperation.
I never expected to get his vote anyway.
To get every vote he can, Gore has adopted a more combative, populist tone.
You know what? There is one day that comes around every 4 years when the special interests tremble at the thought that you're paying close attention.
It's an effort to reach out to supporters of Ralph Nader, the new power brokers in at least 6 key Democratic states. Concerns that support for Nader could doom Gore's chances nationwide have launched a grassroots internet movement, offering to swap Nader votes in battlegrounds with Gore votes in uncontested states. The vice president says he's heard of the campaign, but would rather get the vote on his own merits.
I prefer to make the positive case for people to vote enthusiastically for what I represent.
In the next few days, the Democratic Party will reach out to Nader and swing voters with a new ad campaign that questions Bush's readiness to lead. And the Gore campaign is about to make a major play in the state of Florida, which they now believe they could win and deny Bush the election. Bush says he can win without it. It's going to be an interesting week. Dan?
John Roberts. It isn't only the presidential race that's so close, this close to Election Day. Democrats believe they can make gains and even harbor some faint hopes of possibly recapturing the Senate, which is now 54-46 Republican. In line with that, in Missouri today, the Democratic candidate's widow, Jean Carnahan, said she would accept appointment to the U.S. Senate if her late husband gets more votes than GOP incumbent John Ashcroft. Mel Carnahan died in a plane crash this month, but his name by law remains on the ballot. Another tight and critical U.S. Senate race is in Delaware, where a popular, powerful, and long-time Republican incumbent is in a struggle for re-election. CBS's Bob Schieffer has our report on that.
Scrapple. That's hog leftovers to the uninitiated, and apples are a tradition in Delaware, and the first state loves its traditions.
Hi, how are you?
Bill Roth is another Delaware tradition. He's been its senator for 30 years. He'll turn 80 next year, but he wants another term, and many in Delaware say, why not?
I know he's getting up in years, but he is really good, okay?
The biggest issue for me is the seniority that Bill Roth has and the committee that he's in. If we were to lose that and go back to a junior senator, I think that the state of Delaware loses an awful lot.
For sure, Roth is chairman of the Senate Finance Committee, one of the most powerful committees on Capitol Hill. But critics say he's lost a step in recent years, that he may be a tradition the state can no longer afford.
Thanks for wearing that sticker.
So he's being challenged by Delaware's Democratic Governor Tom Carper, who says it's not Roth's age, but energy that's the issue.
Whether a person's 59 or 69 or 79 is not so important. The important thing is the energy they have and their ability to function effectively for the next 6 years. I've got a lot of energy. I go real hard, day and night.
Roth has campaigned vigorously, but there have been some scary moments. He has twice fainted.
I gotta go.
Led to this nearby couch, minutes later, Roth blamed the incident on a minor inner ear problem.
And no one should be concerned about your health.
No, I'm fine.
As he has campaigned, he has argued his long years in Washington are an asset.
I'm in a position because of my seniority, my experience. I really can serve the people of Delaware.
But some are not so sure.
And Roth has done a great job for Delaware. But I'm at the point where I think it's time for a little change.
In a race that has been close from the start, that has been the only real issue. Bill Roth, the Delaware tradition. But has he stayed too long at the party? Bob Schieffer, CBS News, Washington.
For in-depth coverage of these important closing days of the presidential campaign, check out CBS's Campaign 2000 website. We'll have the latest polls, analysis of the key swing states, and CBS News correspondents with all their experience will answer your questions 24/7 at CBS.com. Coming up next on tonight's CBS Evening News, how high-cost, high-test lobbying produced watered-down auto safety laws. And later, the presidential campaign, the tipper factor.
What's this stuff? Some cereal. It's supposed to be good for you. Did you try it? I'm not going to try it. You try it. I'm not going to try it. Let's get Mikey. Yeah. He won't eat it. He hates everything. He likes it. Hey, Mikey.
After all these years, life is still the good-for-you cereal that kids think is just plain good.
Talk about a torture test. I took Aleve to my 2-day walk for charity. With my bad back, I needed something that wouldn't let me down a few hours later. My heart went out to some of the other women. They took something else. A few hours later, they were hurting again. I gave them my Aleve, and they had a fighting chance.
Just 2 Aleve can stop pain all day. It would take 8 Tylenol to do that.
By the end of the walk, people were calling me, "Hey, Aleve," like it was my name. So thanks, Aleve.
And now cold sufferers can get the all-day strength of Aleve and new Aleve Cold and Sinus.
In the world we're born into,
being smart doesn't necessarily make you a financial success. Neither does being pretty, neither does being talented. There are brilliant failures and there are successful zeros. Having money isn't a matter of good or bad. Having money is a matter of putting your money in a better place. Morgan Stanley Dean Witter. Move your money. Get well connected.
It's now possible there will be no done deal on key federal budget spending bills until after Election Day. Negotiators for the White House and Congress are talking up the idea that Congress will have to return for a post-election lame duck session if the work is to get finished. Of course, this could be the all-too-usual Washington huffing and puffing, and a deal is still possible. Word today that the president will sign an automobile safety bill in the next day or two. Critics say if you look under the hood, this measure passed by Congress does little to actually help protect consumers. So how did the bill get so watered down before it passed? CBS's Cheryl Atkinson reports it could be the high-octane dollars pumped into Congress by industry lobbyists.
Congress congratulated itself for moving quickly when new auto safety legislation passed 3 weeks ago. But the so-called TREAD Act had been gutted by the time it passed. And a new investigation by the consumer group Public Citizen says money may be the reason why. During the past 5 years, the auto industry, including Ford, gave at least $18 million to political parties and political action committees. 30 senators got over $50,000 each in direct contributions. Topping the list, Spencer Abraham from Ford's home state of Michigan. He got $605,000. But that's dwarfed by what is spent hiring expensive lobbyists to bend the ear of those in Congress and the White House. $101 million since 1997. Ford spent the most. $32 million. That ranks the auto industry among the biggest spenders, even ahead of tobacco.
Companies don't invest that kind of money for no reason at all.
Pete Sepp from the National Taxpayers Union says the auto industry reaps a tremendous return from that investment, like the influence to insert a controversial provision in the TREAD Act that actually lets companies keep more information secret than ever before. It's the exact opposite of what victims of the alleged Ford Firestone fiasco were pushing for when they tried to lobby Congress last month.
Having an influence on a single issue as a single individual can be very difficult on Capitol Hill. You have to enlist allies from the beginning. The odds are definitely stacked against you.
Despite that, consumer advocates are already lobbying hard to do away with the secrecy provision in the TREAD Act and to toughen up the criminal penalties. All that said, what the auto industry is doing is perfectly legal, but it shows how hard it can be for individuals to go up against big companies and their big money. Cheryl Atkinson, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
The Federal Aviation Administration today released a report sharply critical of design, engineering, and production systems at 7 Boeing aircraft factories. The report cites 107 problems, most of them on Boeing production lines, but it concludes the safety of passengers on Boeing aircraft was not compromised. On the CBS Market Watch, the government says Americans saw their income shoot up more than 1% in September, much of it government subsidies to farmers. At the same time, American spending increased a hefty 0.8%, more fuel for the economy. On Wall Street, stocks closed mixed. The Dow Blue Chips soared 245 points. The tech-heavy NASDAQ fell nearly 87. Still ahead on the CBS Evening News, saving lives with a prescription for better penmanship.
You know when it's time to focus on energy, you're already taking ginseng. But Centrum knows there's more to it, like getting enough B2, B6, and biotin. Now getting all this is as easy as Centrum. New Centrum focused formulas, focused on specific health needs.
You'll love new and improved Ziploc Easy Zipper.
It's so easy to fall in love. It seems so easy. It's a doggone easy.
With regular bags, you pinch and seal and hope it's closed. But now you can easy zipper it and know it's closed. New and improved Ziploc Easy Zipper. Easy open, easy close. Easy Zipper. S.C. Johnson & Family Company.
I prefer using natural ingredients. That's why I take Beano. Beano helps prevent gas from problem foods with a natural food enzyme. It's not a drug. So if you prefer a more natural approach, prevent gas with Beano.
Why are people tossing their yellow pages? There's something better. Switchboard.com, a free directory powered by the internet. It's business listings, it's people search, it's maps and directions. It's faster, and it's a smarter way to find everything in your town and places your yellow pages doesn't cover. Don't take our word for it. Listen to your neighbors. Switchboard.com. Think outside the book.
We literally make billions of coins here at the U.S. Mint, but each one is special.
The 50-state quarter program is one of the most unique programs our country has ever seen.
People are collecting, kids are trading.
I think it's one of the best things to happen to coinage in decades.
We're putting out 5 state quarters each year for the next 10 years.
And each quarter is minted for about 10 weeks only.
If you want to collect them, the Mint has coin sets and maps to help you get started.
Next time you're buying a soda, go through your change. Check them out. We're really proud of the work we do here.
The barely legible chicken scratches that often pass for drug prescriptions have prompted any number of doctor jokes. But poor penmanship is no laughing matter for patients who take home the wrong medicine. So, as Elizabeth Caledon reports on the CBS Health Watch, a little remedial education is just what the doctor ordered.
Writing instrument in the air, we're going to make a W.
They may be brain surgeons and cardiologists, but for now it's back to the lessons of first grade.
Think of the 3 without loops. Don't do this. Get rid of those loops. Or
while purging the loops may seem funny on the surface, this seminar at Methodist Hospital of Southern California is an attempt to cure one of the medical profession's most enduring ills, illegible handwriting.
If a few of them improve, it's going to make a difference in their lives and perhaps in lives of other people.
In its sweeping report published just last year, the Institute of Medicine found medical errors account for 98,000 deaths every year. Experts believe as many as 25% of those errors are related to unreadable scrawl.
We recognize potential for critical errors if a doctor writes a medication that he intends to be for the heart, but the pharmacy misinterprets that as a medication for the brain.
It can be a frighteningly easy mistake to make. There are more than 4,000 drugs in regular use, many of them with similar sounding names, like Celebrex for arthritis, Selexin for depression, Cephalexin, an antibiotic. All it takes is a little messy handwriting to confuse them. To erase that possibility, Boston's Brigham and Women's Hospital has instituted a computer system. Doctors type in their prescriptions.
Using this system reduced the serious medication error rate by 55%.
The program distinguishes between similar sounding drugs, raises red flags if there's the potential for danger, even knows which dose amounts are appropriate.
Everybody tap. 1, 2, 3.
Technology isn't the only solution. For many doctors, it's a matter of going back to basics, taking the time to relearn how to write. A small gesture which could have major consequences. Elizabeth Caledon, CBS News, New York.
A revolutionary treatment for rheumatoid arthritis is showing promise in early results from a study of 20 test patients. Some have been able to resume gardening and other activities after years of crippling joint pain. The new drug, Rituxan, appears to work by stopping white blood cells that mistakenly attack healthy joints.
I was home, homeward bound. Home, where my thoughts escaping. Home, where my music's playing.
New MSN Explorer. Everything you need to feel at home on the web, all in one place.
Technology is everywhere. Shouldn't it also be in your portfolio? The Strong Technology 100 Fund. Call 1-800-4STRONG. You're one call away from a strong portfolio.
Ziploc containers. Test number 12. Both of these containers can go into the microwave. One of them doesn't always make it. Ziploc. All you ever wanted in a container. Ziploc containers. Test number 23. These containers cost about the same. But how do they really stack up? Ziploc, all you ever wanted in a container.
Presenting the unshakable confidence of new improved C-Bond. Only C-Bond denture adhesive now has 100% more holding power with 3 powerful adhesives in this comfort-thin seal. And cleanup's easy, so get unshakable confidence with new improved C-Bond with 100% more hold.
When I got arthritis, I thought my gardening days were over, but my doctor said activity helps. And to make it easier, he recommends Advil. Nothing's been proven stronger on arthritis pain. Advil works beautifully.
Advil, stronger than pain.
The White House opened its doors 200 years ago this week. Next week, a new president will be chosen. So join us for a campaign special live from the White House, where history and the future meet. Both candidates will tell Dan Rather why they should live there in final pre-election interviews. Wednesday on the CBS Evening News.
The first live-in crew of the International Space Station heads for orbit tomorrow. NASA astronaut Bill Shepard and 2 Russian crewmates will ride a Russian rocket into space from the same launch pad used for Yuri Gagarin's historic first flight in 1961. They're due to link up with the half-built station on Thursday. Israeli helicopter gunships returned to action in the Gaza Strip and West Bank today. They fired rockets at buildings used by Palestinian leader Yasser Arafat's Fatah organization, but no injuries were reported. Also today, suspected Palestinian gunmen shot 2 Israeli security guards in East Jerusalem. 1 died, the first Israeli Jew killed in the city since the current round of violence began. Nearly 3 weeks after it was crippled by a deadly terrorist bombing, the USS Cole today completed the first short leg of a long, slow voyage home. After being towed out of Aden, Yemen, the billion-dollar destroyer met up today with the giant Norwegian ship carrier, which will take it aboard for the month-long journey to the United States. A series of powerful North Atlantic storms caused widespread damage and flooding across Britain and France overnight. At least 5 people were killed, most by toppled trees. The storm also sank an Italian freighter off the French coast. The crew was rescued. And swirling winds in New York's financial district added unwanted excitement to the ticker tape parade for the World Series champion Yankees. Some of the tons of paper caught fire, keeping firefighters busy putting out dozens of small fires. Up next here on CBS, Up Close and Personal with Tipper Gore.
When we asked some denture wearers why they don't use an adhesive, they didn't have a whole lot to say.
I don't need it. My dentures fit fine, thanks.
I've not had a problem in 15 years.
But then they tried Fixodent, and they couldn't say enough.
Makes them feel a lot more natural. I just plain forget I have them.
They actually fit better.
That's because Fixodent gives even the best fitting dentures a better fit.
It just proves you never know until you try.
Fixodent, and forget it.
Got yourself into too much credit card debt? Why not point and click your way out of debt with a second mortgage from Ditech.com? Whether you have equity or no equity, good credit or not so good credit, Ditech has a second mortgage with absolutely no closing costs to help you lower your monthly payments now. So point and click your way out of high-interest, non-tax deductible credit card debt at Ditech.com or call us at 1-800-71-FIXED.
Ooh, tough day.
Yeah.
What you eating?
Beef noodle soup.
Condensed soup? I used to eat that too, back when I played with dolls. You're an adult now. There's a better tasting soup. New Progresso Beef and Mushroom has big chunks of tender steak, portobello mushrooms, pasta, and hearty vegetables, all with just the right seasonings. See the difference?
This is better.
See? And how about that tie?
It's time to go to the better taste of Progresso.
Time to buy a Montero Sport. 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments for an entire year on our best-selling Mitsubishis. Hurry, this deal ends soon.
You've heard about the Gallup poll. A Nashville business says the only poll that really counts is the Halloween mask poll. Is George W. outselling Gore? The answer at 6.
The election next week will decide not only the American presidency, but another key position with the potential for considerable influence, First Lady of the United States. So CBS News is taking an in-depth look at the two main hopefuls, beginning with Tipper Gore, profiled tonight by CBS News correspondent Rita Braver.
Please welcome my husband, our next president of the United States, Al Gore.
People are still asking Tipper Gore the all-important question. How about that kiss?
Well, I think Al was asked about it first, and he said he was trying to send a message to me. I can say message delivered.
It was a message Al Gore first sent at his high school prom, the very first time he ever met Mary Elizabeth Atchison, nicknamed Tipper.
Both of us had dates with other people, and I talked with her, and I was smitten.
They've been married 30 years, have 3 daughters, a son, and 1 grandson. Al Gore calls Tipper his most important advisor.
I can't imagine making a really important life decision without consulting with her.
But her role is more sounding board than policy wonk. She's an accomplished photographer who's used her skill and her celebrity to draw attention to issues like mental health and homelessness. She says she'll keep doing that if she becomes First Lady.
I will continue to advocate for people that I feel like need the extra voice.
Her interest in mental health has a personal aspect. In 1989, she suffered and recovered from a bout of clinical depression. She now makes it a point to take time out for fun, showing off the skills she developed as a drummer in an all-girls high school rock band.
You love to go out and have a good time. But you also have this little reputation as being the lyrics police, and I wondered about that.
Oh, thank goodness. I thought you were going to say, but also you can't sing.
We are asking the recording industry to...
In 1985, Tipper Gore led a drive to create a rating system that would identify violent or sexually explicit lyrics. And today she bristles at suggestions that she and her husband have turned down the volume on their criticism of Hollywood in exchange for political and financial support.
I have always said I think that gratuitous violence is not healthy for kids. I think that producers should be held accountable for that.
She's had a close-up view of the good, the bad, and the ugly of public life. She was reportedly appalled at President Clinton's behavior in the Monica Lewinsky episode, but also understands how painful it can be to have every aspect of your life scrutinized.
And I think a lot of people are wondering, knowing what she knows, does she really want to be First Lady?
Well, what I want is for people to decide in favor of Al Gore and Joe Lieberman based on the power of the ideas they're advocating.
And no matter what happens in November, Tipper Gore will have something to show for it. Rita Braver, CBS News, New York.
Tomorrow night we profile Laura Bush, and that's part of our world. For the CBS Evening News, Dan Rather reporting. See you tomorrow. Good night.
For news 24 hours a day, CBS.com on the internet and on our interactive partner, America Online, at keyword CBS News.
The candidates talk with Dan Rather one last time Wednesday. Experience CBS News.
Straight ahead on News Channel 5 at 6, it's one of the hottest races in the state, and some say the mudslinging has gone too far. We'll hear what the candidates have to say coming up.
And the Titans are getting ready to take on the Washington Redskins, but will